Hi, everyone. This is Inside Scoop with Stefanie Hoover from LP Magazine. We're back again, and I'm so excited to talk to one of my favorite people on Earth, David Lund.
That's awesome. Thanks, Stephanie.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Yeah, it's so good to see you. And your hair is looking like great today, David. What's
It needs a little bit of a trim, but when you're living in your basement, it hardly matters. I go 4 weeks now instead of 3.
What happens in that basement? I see there's a lot of reading that goes on.
There's a lot of reading happens in the basement, and this is where I live now, and it's windowless. It's a Pittsburg basement.
Oh,
so yeah, but I've made it as nice and homey as I could possibly make it. It's a little bit different than working in a big glass and brick office building, but yeah. I made it my own.
That's great to hear that you've settled in, and is a WZ feeling like home now?
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, it always has though.
Yeah,
it's such a big company with such a small company, if you know what I mean. They're so personal. They always have been with all of their clientele, and I've been a customer for my entire career up until about 8 months ago. Right. And so yeah, I mean, you always feel like you're part of the family with the WZ team. So yeah, it was seamless, quite frankly.
Awesome. Well, you and I we're gonna talk about a few things today. Including what's new, what's CFI and I and all that good stuff. But let's talk a little bit about what's it been like transitioning from this global corporation, mega
right.
corporation to little old WZ, which is a big but small company, as you said. What's that transition been like?
It is. It's been actually more dramatic than I thought, Stephanie. It's you think. Coming from 30 years, more than 30 years in these multi-billion-dollar enterprises, right? Leading teams of, 200 people. And then you step into a role where you are like one of a few in a really small business. It did, and it still does actually take a little sense of recalibration, if you will, of everything, scale of influence, the opportunities that exist, to do things quickly. It's funny because you can, with a very small company, you can be very nimble and operate very quickly and see change happen. Like very few times can you go to a place where you can actually see the needle move. In a big company, you have to wait. However, you can't do as much simultaneously. It's very difficult to handle multiple large projects at the same time with the smaller team. So I've always been very engaged in hands-on work, so I love that. Maybe too much, some people might say, but this new environment really allows me to be really hands-on, but a lot more innovative and a lot more granular level. So I really have enjoyed that.
It's funny. So I kind of noticed the same thing, right? So I came from larger corporations. Right. The magazine's a really small team. It's kind of like, I mean, you're still using the same soft skills, but they're different.
Right.
Because you have such a small team, it's almost like you're in there and you're really in how the sausage is made, right? Day to day. I hate to use that phrase because it's disgusting when I think about it, but but am I right? It's different. Yeah.
The organizational structure is not complex, right? It's not like a big corporation. But when you think about the leadership skills, the strategic thinking, problem solving, those things are all the same. Doesn't matter. And you could argue that they might even be more critical on a small business scale because there's not a whole lot of room for error because things do change right away. Like you flip a switch and it happens. It's not like you say, we're going to do this and it goes through a huge bureaucracy of decision makers, and then it goes through an implementation phase. And we're making some changes right now on the technical back end of some of the things that we do. And it'll be done in 2 weeks. Some of the stuff, it's not 6 months from now. And if you make a mistake, you're going to know right away.
To your point there, there's not all these other teams filtering and looking for cracks or problems to come, right? You put something out there, it better be right.
There's no double checking. Nobody's like, hey, I just saw we're going to do this. Did you think of this? Yeah, there's nobody doing that.
Oh, no, it just better be right. I think that's kind of the cool thing about a small business too, is though, you kind of have to be able to say, I'm okay with failure. And it's okay that it's a kind of a public failure sometimes.
Yes.
You just got to be okay with it.
And you know what? And that it's great because we called WZ family at the beginning. Everybody gets it. Like there's it's not like anybody wants you to make a mistake, but it's like, hey, let's dust ourselves off and move forward. We can fix this as quickly as we broke it.
Right.
So yeah, it's reassuring and refreshing that way. It's exciting because there's always this little bit of edgy risk. But again, doing what we do, like nobody's gonna die. Like we're not like things aren't gonna burn and fall apart. Like, it's not, thank goodness we're not doing things that are, critical to life.
Right. Yeah.
No one's gonna long-term career life maybe, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, somebody might be offended from a post on LinkedIn or something, but yeah, it's not life safety type stuff we're dealing with. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad that you found family and that you're loving it over there. You just seem so happy. Every time I talk to you, I'm just like, oh, you're so happy, David.
It is, it's remarkably different. It's still hard and there's still stress. It's just different. When you're doing something that you really have passion around, that you've wanted to do for so long, like it's awesome.
It's a good feeling. Yeah. Well, good on you. I love it. So talk to me about what's happening over there. So I know it's CFI, a lot of changes.
Yeah.
That's near and dear to my heart, right? Like I
know.
I was one of the first test takers back in the day. I heard that I would have a hard time probably passing this new one. I don't know. I probably go to a class.
I don't think so. Look, first of all, you've got a tremendous amount of experience, right? But it's not that the new content is harder. It's just new.
Different.
So it is very different. So when I came on board to WZ, I also kind of sunk into the International Association of Interviewers Executive Director role and got plunged immediately to this Certified Forensic Interviewer Evolved content. So it's been evolving for a couple of years now. So I got here just at the tail end when all the heavy lifting was done. So good for that. But yeah, it's fascinating. So not to date you and say that you were one of the first test takers, but last year CFI turned 20.
I know.
Like 2 decades of this globally recognized certification. It's really impressive, but it needed to be updated. Like times have changed. There's new science, new research. There's new things that inform how we should be conducting investigative interviewing. And the new CFI Evolved does just that. It actually takes a huge leap forward globally to expand away from what I'll say are generally just US or North American centric philosophies and look at things much more globally. And if you think about the 2001 and the beginning of the war on terror, and we think about all the investigative interviews, or maybe interrogations is what they might have called them, that happened, that informed a tremendous amount of research and an amount of information that has all been kind of adapted to best practices around non-confrontational interviewing that's rapport-based, it's rooted in empathy. It makes a huge, huge difference in really getting to what we all want, which is the truth. So the Evolved content is out. It's launched. It came out in the beginning of January. We've got about 100 people in flight right now, which is really cool. Nice. I could not be more excited about that, step that we've taken as an organization to really just to bring better and newer learning to professionals everywhere. It's cool.
Yeah, I love that you guys are taking that step to take it outside of our borders, right? Because this is a technique that should work no matter the culture, no matter the country. And I think we probably did overly focus on the US, but hey, at the time, it was great.
It made sense. It made a lot of sense.
Yeah. But I do love this step. And then are you making this available in other languages too? Is that?
Eventually. So today is just English. However, efforts to make it in Spanish and French are underfoot. And we might even see it in Mandarin in the next 18 months, believe it or not.
Yeah. That's impressive.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So you have to, I'm sure, contract an outside company to help you do all that.
So we're working with outside companies, but we also have a wonderful board of advisors, some of which are operating in China today, who have signaled, hey, hey, we'd love to help you do this. We've got resources and we want this. So that may help it along a little bit faster.
Awesome. So with the changes with the CFI, obviously, and I know we've been talking for a while now about the different changes within the technique itself. Just give us like a 30,000 foot, like what's the meat that's changed?
So gosh, well, 90% of it's changed to some degree. Now that doesn't mean that what we learned in the CFI of old is wrong. It's just different. So there's a huge focus on rapport building. There's a huge focus on empathy. The new CFI has got a much broader range of investigative interviewing styles that can be used in different contexts. Speaking with vulnerable subjects, operating in environments that are not just stereotypical retail or law enforcement environments. They're really applicable across boards. They're more directed at witness investigations and victim investigations, not just a stereotypical, you probably did it, so let me find out if that's true. It's very broadly applied. So I think it's really, there's something there for everyone. And beyond being going across borders internationally, what I really love about this is it steps out to affect industries everywhere. Whether you're operating in retail, in manufacturing, in consulting, in auditing, in the legal space, these tools are great communication tools for anybody who's going to ask anybody else a question. I mean, that's the most simple way to put it is, if you're going to ask somebody questions, let me show you how you can do that.
And what a great tool for your toolbox. Like, as I was moving through my career, I always looked for trainings that I could use no matter where I was at. So maybe I decided I wasn't going to be a retail loss prevention, person my entire career. Let me get a tool in my toolkit that I could use somewhere else. If I wanted to be an auditor, if I wanted to go out to, work in the federal government in some capacity, wouldn't it be great to have a skill set that's transferable? So I love that this is a more broadly tool. Yeah.
And not that you or I have ever done this before. We both know that these kinds of skills can be applied in our personal lives as well.
No.
I mean, we would never do that. We'd never use investigative interviewing techniques to learn things about friends or family.
No.
But yeah, look, these are communication skills at root. So they're transferable, not just across industries, but across your life.
Absolutely. Yeah, I used it a lot in sales. I can tell you that.
100%, right.
Yeah, good times for everyone.
I never saw it coming.
No. So what else is new? What's that IAI? Anything changing there? Or
we're really gearing up. We got a full calendar this year for elite training events, which are essentially webinars on steroids. And we are really excited for Elite Training Days in October. So that's our annual meeting where CFIs and others, our membership all comes alive and comes together. We're doing it again in Chicago this year. It was a big splash last year. It was really awesome, our biggest ever. And we expect to grow on that this year too. So we're really looking forward to that.
Awesome. Yeah, it was a great event. I mean, it was packed. You guys had, your agenda was stacked. You had, I love the setup with the booths from your sponsors and your different solution providers. So they're just like right there in the room. It's just a really great setup. I love it.
I love it too. It takes a page out of a couple of different conferences where our professional partners and our members are there together. We all get to enjoy the content together. We all get to interact together. There's not just this one time or a couple of hours or a couple of minutes where you get to go and meet and greet with the professional partners that are there. They're part of they're asking questions and they're engaged in the group conversations. It is really a different kind of environment that we really love. You're going to see a lot more of that this year, and we've got some cool surprises to really enhance that as well.
Awesome. Do you happen to know when is the next webinar? Approximately?
I knew you were going to ask me that. No,
sorry.
No, so I don't take time to look it up. But
okay, all right. We'll get back to that later. We'll put something out on that. And so when am I going to see you next, Stephen? Am I see you at RELA? Am I seeing you at LPRC Impact?
So you will see me at LPRC Impact. I
awesome. Cannot
wait. Always an awesome event, and now it's in Florida, not during hurricane season.
I know. Wow.
Imagine that. Do love that. That's really great. So yeah, you'll see me there. I'll be popping into RELA. I'll be on route to a seminar that I've got in Charlotte. And then after that, you'll see me at the NRF big show in June. And then after that, you'll see me at your meeting, which is in November.
That's right. Good.
Yeah.
I might see you. I'm going to be seeing a lot of you. All right. Well, it was so good catching up with you, David. Anything else you want to mention before we?
No, I just thanks for the opportunity, but I also want to thank you for all that you do for our industry and all that you've brought to Loss Prevention Magazine. It's really been fantastic to work with you in that capacity as well. And we're really thankful for the partnership that the II and the LPM have. So thanks very much for that. Really do appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, good to talk with you as always, and we'll see you down the road, David.
You got it. Won't be long.